sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Shalom, Mabuhay, and welcome. It started last week at Asbury University in Kentucky. Students gathered for the usual chapel service. But after the service, many students decided to stay behind in the chapel, continuing to pray, continuing to sing. And they stayed, and they stayed, and they stayed some more. Other students caught wind of it, and they decided to join in. Soon, the chapel was packed with students. And then people from off campus wanted to get in on it. And as of today, February 18th, it's still going on, with people from thousands of miles away traveling to Kentucky to join in on this revival. Now, many articles have pointed out that this has happened before. It's even happened on the Asbury campus before in the 1970s. Actually, a similar revival broke out at Wheaton College in the 1990s. And sure, some people's lives were probably permanently changed for the better as they made a commitment to Christ for the first time. And of course, revivals are not confined to college campuses. There was the whole Jesus movement of the 1970s. I don't know too much about it. It was before my time. Just seemed like a bunch of hippies to me, but like I said, I don't know too much about it. But folks, what's happening at Asbury right now is not a revival, in my opinion. Nor was the event at Wheaton in the 1990s, or even the event at Asbury in the 1970s. I think it's more like a happening. It's a spontaneous event. It's an unplanned Woodstock. Only instead of 3 days of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, we're getting 10 days of weeping and praying and K-love. For me, the red flag is that people from thousands of miles away are traveling to Kentucky to get in on this. And you can bet all of those Christian influencers on the internet are on the road right now, phone in hand, ready to post their selfies saying, "I was there," buy my merch. Look, are people committing their lives to Christ as a result of this event? Sure, maybe some of them are. Is the faith of existing Christians getting strengthened? Maybe. Some of them probably. And if so, then great. I'm not against that. But I do have some questions. My first question is, why do you need to go to Kentucky to be a part of this happening? Heck, if you're on campus, why do you even need to go to the chapel? Is God not omnipresent? Is he not as much here as in Kentucky? Doesn't John 4:24 say that we're supposed to worship God in spirit and in truth, not in a particular location? My second question is this: what are those students sacrificing to participate in this revival? Now, it's been a long time since I was in college. Are they on winter break right now? I have no idea. If they're not, then they're supposed to be in class. That's what they are there to do. Are they using this event as an excuse not to go to class? When they flunk the test, are they going to grouse because I was doing the revival? That's why the Bible calls it a sacrifice of praise. Sacrificing going to class to participate in a revival is like me giving up paying my taxes for Lent. It doesn't work like that. You want to sing and pray? Great, do that after class. Do that instead of playing video games or going on a date or going to a party. My third question is, what happens when the happening ends? Where's the follow-up? Are all of these students going to strive for new levels of obedience? Are they all going to seek accountability from others? Are they all going to be disciplined in getting into the Word and praying on a daily basis? My prediction is some might. Some probably will. Most won't. And that's why this happening will produce warm, fuzzy memories, maybe a Facebook group to reminisce about it years later, but little more than that. Now, please hear me. I am not saying that revival is impossible. It's happened before. It's happened in America before. And by the way, it can happen again. Why? Because God is in charge of revivals. Human beings can't plan and bring about a revival. Now, we can pray and ask for it, though. And I hope revival does happen again in America, and soon. Because we need revival badly in America. But the sad truth is, we don't seem to want it badly enough. Based on what little I know, revivals usually only come about after a severe crisis. You may ask, well, what about 9/11? Yeah, 9/11 was a great tragedy. 3,000 Americans were murdered, and countless heroes ended up with life-ending sickness. And for about 2 weeks, we were all united. And for about 2 weeks, the churches were packed. But by October that same year, the Democrats and Republicans were at each other's throats again. And today, the churches are not packed. They're shutting down. Real revival produces lasting change in the culture. So if 9/11 didn't do it, what will? My opinion is, think Civil War 2.0. Think 500,000 dead Americans over a few years. Maybe that will cause the American people to start questioning how things are going. And maybe then Americans on a wholesale level, across every demographic you can think of, will start to say, you know, maybe we're not going about things the right way. Maybe it's time to stop chasing after money and power and fame. Maybe we should work less and worship more. Maybe we should play less and pray more. Maybe it's time we get real about what we are struggling with. Instead of just showing up at church and plastering a smile on our face saying, I'm blessed. Cultural change starts at the top, and that has got to come from church leadership. Pastors have got to get honest and show their congregations that they are real people with the same temptations and all the same failures and all the same sorrows and grief and depression and anger as anyone else. You want revival? Ask God to bring it about. And then be like Michael Jackson. Start with the man in the mirror. Ask him to change his ways. Get real. Get on your knees. Get into God's word. Get accountable. Start with you and watch what God can do. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. Remember to like, subscribe, and donate, 'cause I ain't in this for my health.